Mm. Hello and welcome to the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm your host, the Goldsmith. That is some delicious root beer. And it is the 17th of September, 2024. Just coming back from Pennsylvania, from Amish country, bringing some root beer along with me. And it's been a week. It's been a week. And I'm not going to highlight the week because this is not what I do. This is not a weekly show. But it is enough. There is enough in the main announcement of the day to make a show and to break some things down. So NFLPA competition and a staking competition, hand in hand, two competitions tied together. We'll get into some of the specifics there, some of the finer bits there along the way. And there's a lot there. There's a lot there to consider. There's a lot of details not to be missed. And there's some thoughts based on where we are with the NFLPA this season, this year, 2024, versus some of the promises in the past versus what we've seen in previous years. And maybe there's some positives there, and I think there are, and we'll get into that. And maybe there's still some longing that the NFLPA could be more, or the NFLPA partnership could be more in Upland. We'll get into a couple of those things, and then ultimately celebrate what is going on with this staking up opportunity, which is a continued pool of continued distribution of Sparklet back into the holders of people who are being active in the game of Upland. And again, that's kind of the theme of tonight. That's the theme of, as far as I'm concerned, the theme of the staking contest, tied in with the NFLPA season, to have some basis or some tie with continued activity in multiple forms in the game of Upland, resulting in an increased holding of Sparklet. Hey, Six Weeks, good to see you. And let's get into that. All views and opinions expressed by myself, they're mine and mine alone. Should not be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent the game of Upland, the team of Upland. And those who do come on as contributors, as guests, they have their own opinions. They're welcome to them. That shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent the game of the team of Upland. Myself, the Goldsmith of the Cafe Nightly Show. That's easy. We're going to get the share screen up pretty shortly here, because ultimately there's plenty to read, there's plenty to see, and we're going to stop along the way because there is plenty to take a look at as far as context. There's plenty to take a look at as far as history without getting too far into what was the contest this year versus what was the contest that year versus what was the UPX price to buy the assets. We're going to look at these in a more broad context. Again, without getting too specific, but recognizing that there has always been some hook to what are we doing with NFLPA legits. Is there going to be a future utility? Can I burn these and I can get a replica? Oh, wait a minute, replicas got delayed a couple years. What does it look like to have opportunities to sign mementos? That was something that we were told might be coming, and we never have had, not yet anyways. But we do have, and we are pretty excited to see a way to earn Sparklet, or a way to help earn Sparklet because of, or by having a participation in a level or a aspect of the game of Upland that has seen little reward, at least for many people, little reward for being a participant of. So it's kind of exciting to see that. We'll get into that. Let's get it up. Let's take a look. And let's take a look. New Orleans Staking Challenge. And again, this is very much tied to NFLPA 2024, the contest they're in. And it is very much, it's also a focus on a city that is not brand new. It's focus on a city that's been around for a while, an opportunity to kind of be a part, or be a part of the building or the growth or the development of a city that's been sitting around and sitting, I'm not going to say dormant, but sitting without a lot of incentive for activity for many years at this point, for multiple years. There hasn't been this incentive for activity. And, just taking a look and starting to get into this in this challenge, I like to think of, these challenges as an incentive or a reason why we're doing something in a certain area. And yes, there's reward to it, but because people are collectively doing something, people are collectively building, people are collectively buying properties in an area, you can sometimes see the value or the utility of those properties in that area increase, at least for that short period of time. And if it is done right, and if it is done with intention, if it's done with purpose, some of that value can hang on, because these developments, these areas, these nodes can be built because of the development, because of the growth of this contest, and because this area all has structures. Maybe now it has enhanced value. We'll get into that concept here, what the fringe benefits of a contest like this might be, as well as the fact that I love the idea, and I have loved the idea of running these type of contests to incentivize people to build out neighborhoods. And this has been something that we have kind of pushed on. Why can't we do this upwind? Let's do neighborhood contests. Let's do neighborhood v. neighborhood contests. Let's do city v. city contests. Let's do these opportunities where people are looking at building structures as a key part of beautifying or developing or growing a city. Let's get into the specifics here. As New Orleans gears up to host this year's big game, again, we know Upland doesn't have the right to use the official title of the NFL, we say PA's big end of the year game. We'll have to call it the big game. It is a special Sunday, and everyone in the country, just about, the next day, the Monday following, has a flu. The Monday flu following the big game. Upland is turning up the excitement with not one but two thrilling challenges centered around the Big Easy. Okay, we can use we can use nicknames here. Good. Whether you're staking Sparklet to help build the city or rallying behind your favorite football team, these events offer players unique opportunities to earn rewards and make their mark in Upland. The New Orleans season-long staking challenge. This is the big one. This is the big portion of this. This is the one that more people, hey, Trees, good to see you. This is the one that more people can get in and participate in because it doesn't require that you're in a very small segment of the game of Upland. This is for everybody who has Sparklet, everybody who's using Sparklet, and it is an opportunity for you to focus on some area of properties you own. And maybe you don't own properties in New Orleans. Maybe you're going to be staking on somebody else's, or maybe you buy properties in New Orleans, pushing the floor up, and then you go and stake Sparklet on those properties. Excuse me. That isn't such a bad thing. In the first challenge, the goal, again, is simple, but it's ambitious. Stake your Sparklet to build structures throughout New Orleans. And Upland doesn't say this, but if this is going to happen through the entire season between now and January, we're going to focus on one city and not scatter among 40 separate cities. And we're going to have people potentially stake their Spark more effectively, meaning they're not going to wait as many days between staking Spark. And maybe people who haven't been staking Spark maybe have more of an incentive to stake Spark because staking Spark means earning Spark in this contest. We'll get into the details. But if that actually happens, that could result in a city, New Orleans, that gets significantly built out, significantly more built out than it would be without the contest, significantly more built out than it might be over the course of a year or maybe a year and a half without this contest. And maybe at the end, we see a very different New Orleans than the one we see right now. So this is exciting. I think the results could be very beneficial for the city. I think this is a type of contest that Upland should do more of. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. I think people have been asking for this type of contest for a year and a half, or 2 years. I know I'm one of them. So it is exciting to see this type of contest that really invigorates and really incentivizes taking effort and putting effort into a specific city, building structures. This challenge is about coming together as a community to prepare New Orleans for the big game by building as many structures as possible throughout the season. In addition to standard structures, we'll be dropping limited time structures for players to construct. Again, we talk about the variety of structures that exist in the game, these limited time structures and structures that are specific to one city, not the other, as being a fun part of the game. And some people really enjoy them. This is kind of a nice enhancement for this contest or this period of time, that there are structures getting dropped along the way that are specific to New Orleans and specific to a season or a time of the year. So this is kind of exciting. By working collectively to complete these builds before kickoff, again, between now and the big game, will not only enhance New Orleans with Upland, but also unlock special rewards. This is key. The more that gets staked, the more that can be given out. If we succeed, all participating players will be treated to a special Sparklet airdrop. Again, you have to stake in New Orleans. If you don't have properties now, You can stake on other people's properties, or you can purchase properties to stake on them. Uh, and you are now going to see the city of New Orleans get significantly built out. Does that mean that it's a better or is incentivized to have properties in the city now that the city is more built out? I don't know. Maybe that, that idea of seeing these cities heavily built out with many structures makes them more appealing for layer 2 games. Maybe it makes them more appealing to to people coming into the game of Upland who aren't in the game of Upland now. I don't know what it looks like, but it is going to be fun to find out. At least that's the way I see it. Because again, this is a contest. This is a type of contest we've been talking about and asking for years. By working collectively to complete these builds before kickoff again, we're going to beautify the city. We're going to unlock rewards. Let's talk about how we unlock those rewards for this exclusive airdrop. Again, those who stake can be part of that airdrop. As a celebration of the combined efforts, both of these challenges end on February 5th, again, running up to the big game. Details starting Wednesday, the 18th of September, 9 a.m. PT. Again, that is tomorrow. We're there. Players will need to stake Sparklet in New Orleans to keep or to help construct as many structures as possible throughout the city. The more you stake, the more you will be rewarded. The more the community stakes New Orleans, the more reward pool grows, giving everyone the chance to earn even more. Again, this is something that collectively, there is a collective goal. The collective goal is to have as large of a spark pool as possible. There is a individual reward, and that is going to be having your own airdrop. I just got my airdrop today. It was more than my last airdrop. These are the airdrops for completing challenges or tasks along the way based on how much sparklet we held at TGE. That airdrop should have been dropping for many people today. And if you haven't got it, keep looking. It might be coming. It is a significant reward. And this is another significant reward because this pool that we're talking about seems to be as big, if not bigger, than these airdrop pools. So we could be seeing a significant additional airdrop. And the timing of this comes after we've finished all of our TGE-related airdrops. So it's nice to get that additional airdrop along the way. Keep in mind, the amount of sparklet we've been getting these airdrops is significantly more than many people have been earning in other ways, from treasure hunts or login bonuses or just winning in contests. All right, the more the community stakes in New Orleans, again, the larger the reward pool grows. When the entire community stakes collectively 10 million, that's 10 million spark hours. We'll do some math. 10 million spark hours, the first reward pool of 500,000 sparklet is unlocked. So we have to, as a community, over the course of October, November, December, January, February, not all of February, so maybe that's not right. Over the course of 4 months and change, we have to collectively stake 10 million spark hours. Let's see how much that looks like. That's 50,000 sparklet is unlocked. Reach a total of 20 million. Again, that's another 10 million. A total of 20 million spark hours to unlock the second pool, which is 750,000 sparklet. Again, an additional 700,000 sparklet for a combined total of 1.25 million sparklet. And finally, if we as a community can stake 300,000 spark hours in the city of New Orleans to between now and the 5th of February, if we do it between now and the 5th of February 2025, we will unlock an additional million sparklet, giving a total of 2.5 million sparklet in that pool. The more people stake, the higher their percentage of that pool will be. So here's a breakdown. This is a really nice breakdown, really easy breakdown. Stake 10 million sparklet, stake 20 million sparklet, stake 30 million sparklet. Okay, so the individual staking pool reward, 500,000, and then a plus 750 give you a total of 1.25 million. And then there's another circumstances if you get to a total of 30 million sparklet hours staked, that is an additional 1.25 million. Again, easiest way to think about that is 2.5 million UPIX. All we have to do collectively as a group is to stake between now and the 5th of February 30 million spark hours. Again, spark hours. We know about sparklet and all that. We have to consider this as spark hours. Two different calculations, but yeah, we have to keep that straight. So let's take a quick look. Let's take a quick look at a quick thought. It's oh my gosh, the song, it escapes me, from Rent. I should know how many minutes there are in a year. But let's take a look at how many hours there are in a month. Let's define spark versus sparklet. So first of all, you have to stake 1,000 sparklet for 1 hour to be considered a spark hour. There are a total every single week of 7 times 24. There we go. We can do it. It's a total of 168 hours per week. We're looking at, again, a total of it looks like 13 weeks, maybe we'll get away with 13 weeks there. 13 and a half weeks here for the 5th. So we are looking at 312. Is that what he said? 13 and a half. Yeah, sorry. 13 and a half weeks. Yeah, 13 and a half weeks between now and the 12th. So we are looking at the possibility of being able to stake whatever we have for sparklet. And again, we have to look at the total sparklet that's in circulation. Total sparklet that's in circulation, I believe we're up to like 18 million sparklet out right now. That gives us 180,000 spark. That's right. Yes. 180,000 spark that could be used over the course of that period of time. Again, over the course of, we said 13. Yeah, we'll call it 13. Over the course of 2,184 hours, or opportunity of 2,184 hours, let's just be conservative. Let's say half. That's not even conservative. Let's say a tenth of the people. That's 180. There we go. Of the 180,000, let's say it's 18,000. We can get to. We're a long ways from. We're a long ways from at that point. We're a long ways from not making it, because if we can just get 1/10 of the overall sparklet that's in the game of Upland right now staked over the course of the 13 weeks, cumulatively and collectively and continually, that means no major breaks in between. We'd be looking at the possibility of 39 million spark hours just over those 13 weeks, with 18,000 sparklet committed. So this is something that's very, very doable. There's plenty of spark in the economy to do this that exists in the game of Upland right now. Like we're talking about 18,000 spark is a small portion of the overall spark that exists. Again, 180,000, I believe, spark is out there and meandering itself around in the economy. So I think we're very doable. I think we're very much potentially there. Or headed that way anyway. So let's keep our eyes out. Let's get into the rest of this. But that's the key bit. The key bit is there's 2.5 million sparklet. Again, because Upland is using spark when we talk about this, let's use spark when we talk about this. So at 2.5 million sparklet, we're looking at a pool of 2,500. Yeah, that's right. So 2,500 spark that's going to be given out. Your share is going to be depending on how much sparklet and spark hours that you stake over the course. I will tell you where I am right now. I'm just over 11 spark. Again, at the 7 hours a day, at the 7 days a week. There we go. At the 24 hours a day. At the 13 weeks and change. What am I at? I'm at 24,000 sparklet. Or spark hours. Sorry, 24,000 spark hours. That 24,000 spark hours out of the 30 million, it doesn't seem like much. But if I go and look at what fractional percentage of it that it is, we're not going to get too granular here, but heck, I want to get a little granular. I'm going to multiply that by 25,000. What many spark I get? 2 spark. Two Spark. I'm up for two Spark. So if I can continually do my Spark over that course of the period, we get at to 30 million. It looks like I'm going to be, banking for two Spark, and that's a simple math. It's a simple math, and it's one that you could do yourself and look at your Spark and look at your time, look at your opportunity. But again, this is a realistic opportunity for me based on my level of Spark, which is not the highest level of Spark out there. I know plenty of people with 30 Spark right now, 30,000 Spark. I know people with more. Obviously, there's people with less, but you have the opportunity per. I chose 11,000, but we could say per 10,000 Sparklet of making 50. Let's say one and a half in that area per 10,000 Spark. That Sparklet that you have that you can stake, they can commit to this whole project. 1.5 Spark, or AKA 1,500 Sparklet over this period of time. Not a bad bonus when you consider that part of the idea of doing this in the first place is to build up the city of New Orleans and make it a really heavily built out city. So when we have the big game, when Upland says, virtually we're hosting the big game in New Orleans, we can look at the game in the game of Upland and look at the stadium and look at the surrounding neighborhoods and think about it and say, wow, that's a really well built out city. And that's kind of the goal here. The rewards, the prizes along the way are great, but the idea, the concept is let's get this city built out. Again, as we work together to prepare for New Orleans and then for the big game, your contributions of Sparklet will directly impact the size of the airdrop pool. Again, we looked at the math really quickly. 1/10 of the overall Spark in the game of Upland, whether or not this actually happens, but 1/10 of the overall game of Sparklet in the game of Upland currently staked in the city of New Orleans for the majority of the time over the course of now to the 5th of February will get us there and then some. So this is very doable. I know that there's plenty of people who don't actively use their Sparklet, but this is very, very doable. The more Sparklet you stake in building any structures throughout the city, the larger your share of the pool will be. So make sure you stake as much Sparklet as possible and help build up the city of New Orleans. Great. The New Orleans team score competition. Again, we just talked about one competition. This other competition kind of dovetails, right? So what's done in competition 1 could be used as competition 2, and vice versa. If you're competing for competition 2, you may be earning Sparklet in competition 1, or the first competition that's set here. The second challenge taps into the football team loyalty. This challenge pits your team or each team against each other with every Spark hour you accumulate by staking Sparklet in New Orleans, contributing to your favorite team's success. There's some interesting points here where we question how we determine the favorite team, but we'll get into that. Your team will automatically be whichever team you have the overall highest fan score for. The snapshot will be taken on Wednesday the 2nd of October, between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. PT. So you got to make sure you do it. You move around, you sell, you trade, you buy, whatever you have to do to increase your fan score for the team that you think is going to be most likely to win. Again, favorite team or not, this is about getting Sparklet. So I could definitely see people being selective about the team that they want to say that they're favorite of, or to be represented with a team that more people are going to represent. So make sure the team you want to support has the highest fan score by them. And again, this contest is not just about the most number of people technically who are a fan of that team. It's about the team, the collective people who follow that team, who are going to stake Spark. So if you have a team that there's a lot of active players who are fans of, that might be the team you want to follow or to have as your favorite team, at least in Upland's eyes. Your team will automatically be, again, the team, highest score. Snapshot happens on the 2nd between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. PT. So you have a little bit of time, but not the world. Take the time, move your fan points around, buy, sell, trade, whatever you have to do to get the team you want to have. After snapshot, your Spark hours will start to count toward your team's success. All of those spark hours count towards your team's success. Each professional football team will be ranked weekly based on their total spark hours staked. The top team will earn 32 points, with each subsequent team earning one less point down the rankings. The team leaderboards will be updated every Wednesday after during the season. At the end of the season, the top ranked teams will share the team challenge airdrop pool as follows. First place gets 50% of the team challenge airdrop pool. 30% goes to second place, and then 20% goes to third place. This is key. This is another contest, and there's a separate airdrop pool for it, which is great. And I will tell you what I like about it. I like about it that if I look at the pool here for the team challenge reward, it's significant. It's not as significant as the general fund or the general contest, because the general contest, it includes more players. There's more players who stake Spark who aren't going to follow the NFLPA team challenge, team challenge contest. So that's fine. That makes sense. There will be people who accidentally earn Sparklet along the way by this, and that's not a problem. That's actually a good thing. So it's nice. It's nice people who will hold enough NFLPA legits that they're going to get some points along the way here. But ultimately, the people who aren't following NFLPA, they have a much larger prize pool. People who are following the NFLPA, which is potentially a smaller group of people, there's still a prize pool, not quite as lush, not quite as large. Team Challenge Award, again, just like with the individual staking award pool, it is based on how many people stake how much. Realistically, how much overall Sparklet gets staked. Stake 10 million Spark hours, and you'll get 100,000 Sparklet, or 100,000 Shark. Yeah, I was right. 100,000 Sparklet in that pool. Stake 20 million Spark hours. Again, we got to be clear about these numbers. The staking requirements are in Spark hours. The reward pool's in Sparklet. So you get an additional 150,000, bringing the total pool to 250,000. And then finally, if we get 30 million Spark hours staked cumulatively overall, not additionally, that is a cumulative 500,000 or an additional 250,000 Sparklet. Again, significant rewards for increasing the overall stake pool, the amount staked over the time. As we work together to prepare New Orleans for the big game, and your contributions of Sparklet, they'll be going directly towards the size of the airdrop pool. The more Sparklet you stake in the building structures throughout the city, the larger your share of the pool will be. Again, you're contributing to a group effort. The more effort you bring to that group effort, the more you individually get rewarded. So make sure to stake as much Sparklet as possible and to help build up New Orleans. Again, this is just telling us that you should be staking Spark every time you have a chance. Every time a structure you're staking towards finishes, you should move that Spark to another location. That's a no-brainer. We should be doing that already. But now we're telling you where to stake, because that's where your rewards are going to be. The New Orleans Team Score Challenge competition. The second challenge taps into your football loyalty. It's challenges, pits everybody against each other. We see the points that are here. And wait a minute. There's a little bit more. Just a little bit more. The top 100 players who stake the most for their team, the winning team. Again, you have to be on the team that wins. Will earn an exclusive team-colored go-kart designed to showcase your team pride in style. Again, staking. This is a staking contest. Yes, there's some football tied in. That's based on your NFLPA legit score or fan score, helping to determine what your top team is. This makes this a little mini contest, a little mini challenge for you to move your assets, your legits around in such a way to put you with a team that you think is going to give you the best overall cumulative staking score. Once you're there, you get snapshotted. You're with that team right on through. You got to keep on rooting for that team, keep on working hard, keep on doing the work. And then everybody who, is not following your team, you tell them, hey, relax, buddy. Let's go to, go on a short vacation. Forget about the game of Upland for a while. Don't worry about it. You could do that, but don't, let's play fair. But, that's the idea. That's the idea that once you're into a certain bucket, it doesn't matter how many NFLPA legits you have. It matters what you do with that staking. And that's what makes this, again, a little fun, but it also makes it not really an NFLPA contest. It's not really tied to the things that you're doing with your NFLPA legits. It's not really encouraging you to buy or purchase or hold a lot of NFLPA legits. It's kind of creating a little opportunity to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of contest along the idea of fan score, and then making this contest ultimately about staking. Whether you are helping to build the city up or rallying your favorite team, rallying for your favorite team in football, these challenges provide a unique opportunity to earn rewards, showcase your dedication, and leave a lasting impact in New Orleans. So start your staking, boost your fan score, and join your team as we make this season one to remember. The road to the big game starts now. Are you ready to rise to success? And I want to put another point out there. Upland did this thing last season when they did a little more and a little more and a little more for the NFLPA. I hope they do that. I hope there's a stacking layered contest. So this is a big one. This is a stake spark to earn spark. This is something that a lot of people can get behind. And again, it's something that people have asked about and asked for a long time. They've asked for it for years. So it is very cool. This is very nice. This is happening. Thank you for listening, Upland. There's a very small tie into NFLPA, but the reality is I expect other contests in NFLPA from Upland as well. So don't look at this as the only contest, but it's kind of fun that they created a split aspect. The NFLPA aspect, which potentially could reward people, again, based on getting into the right team. It's not rewarding you for how many legits you have and, moving and selling and buying legits, but it is ultimately using the legits, the fan score you have, to help you self-select. Again, I say self-select because you could change the fan score you have by selling or buying. But to self-select into a certain team that you will be fighting for, that you will be essentially having your Sparkless count towards, so that could be one of the top teams, could be team number one, getting you 50%, I think cumulatively for your team members, 50% of this pool. And again, 500,000, 50% of 500,000 Sparklet, 250,000 Sparklet. That could be pretty nice, and that might not be that bad, especially if you consider that this is split among the fans of that team. So it's 1/32nd theoretically, not really, but I'd say 1/32nd of the game of Upland who's participating, who has legits and fan score. But again, I joke and say 1/32nd. It's not really, because you're gonna have the favorite teams, and there's some teams that people like. Nobody's gonna have this as your favorite, so there'll be plenty of teams that don't have nearly as many spark staked or total spark staked. So keep that in mind. So this is kind of fun. This is a lot of fun, I should say. It is nice that Upland did this. It is something that it gives a reward for participation in a contest. And really what we're doing is we're incentivizing building out a city without any methodology, without any, we're going to build all these structures over here on the left side of the street, and then over here we're going to build this other structure, and we're going to make sure all the shutters are green, and we're going to make sure all the roofs are brown. We are not having that type of coordinated building effort. But Upland is saying, build your structures in New Orleans for the next 4 months. And if you continue to do that, then you are going to get some rewards along the way. Pretty easy, pretty simple. I want to drop into supple things again. I do want to point out that I did miss a lot in the last week and change of traveling and being on the road and working show and not being able to be here at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. I was other places. I was in a show hall in many cases. I wasn't done things at that time of night. So there's been a delay, and I do apologize about that. I do continue to try to do a daily show, and I do have a commitment to continue to do so. Anything could change at any time, but I do like to highlight, especially as it exists, the Upland news. And along the way, we do have this coming, not this week, but next weekend. That is Friday the 27th of September, and Saturday the 28th, we are going to be doing a live in-person meetup with a live in-person tour of, this is on the 28th, of the city of Philadelphia. Again, the city of Philadelphia does not exist in the game of Upland. Why does it make sense to do a meetup of Upland with a tour that's kind of styled around the idea of historic and important places, which I would love to see Upland do more of in the game? Maybe that'll come later down the line. We've had it several. We've seen less emphasis on it. Maybe we'll see more emphasis down the line. But I'm committed to having this community and continue to see communities grow within the game of Upland. So if you can make it, if you're on the East Coast, if you're talking about traveling in, or if you're right in this right in the area of Philadelphia, we'd love to see you 27th at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern time. Again, we're talking about Eastern time, 7 p.m. East Coast time. Meeting at Dave & Buster's in Philadelphia. Address is available. And that is going to be several hours, probably until 11 o'clock at least. There's not strong rules, so people could splinter off. There could be other things that are done that you run later, but ultimately, that is an opportunity to meet other Uplanders without any formal roles or formal timing or formal speeches. No activities planned. It could be an opportunity if you are bringing a node you're working with to discuss it with people. If you have a project or things that you're doing in the game of Upland, either it's a layer 2 or it is a direct art style that you're doing for a map asset shop, or you have structural ornaments that you're trying to get built and trying to get sold. You can have that conversation with other Uplanders. You can present this. You can discuss what you are looking at doing and potentially find collaborators in the space that do things that complement what you're doing. Those are all possibilities, but that's not going to happen in a structured, there's 13 booths over there, and you go to each booth and you talk to each person with that booth. It is going to be done in the format of, you have people who are going to self-select and identify themselves as Uplanders. We're going to try to meet and greet and talk to people. Maybe we'll have a little way of segregating and saying, hey, I'm an Uplander while you're there, or at least self-identifying. Hey, I'm an Uplander while you're there. So while in public, hopefully on your best behavior. I know some people are animals in the community. Hopefully on your best behavior, being able to to hang out and spend time with other Uplanders and experience the city of Philadelphia, which we'll do on Thursday, which we'll do on Saturday the 28th in a little more detail, going on a walking tour, going to multiple locations, visiting some historic locations, as well as parts of the culture of Philadelphia as it currently exists. The Reading Terminal Market is not just a place to eat, but it is a meeting place within the city of Philadelphia. So we will be using it as that purpose, or for that purpose. We will be seeing areas and portions of contemporary history like the Rocky Steps. We'll be walking by a number of pieces of history, which includes the President's House, which first residential residence of the United States of America, when the capital of the country, or many of the federal offices, were based in Philadelphia. So there's a lot that we have to see that are historically based that's going to be part of, if you were willing to look at a tour of Philadelphia, of what is important to see. So we are looking forward to having that opportunity. And again, this is more about spending time with people. You could say, I hate Upland. Please don't. Please don't stand up and say, I hate Upland in the group. Hey, good to see you, Grizzly. But it is an opportunity that you're spending time with people who hopefully you want to spend time with. You have at least some shared interest, and that's the idea of doing meetups. It really is. And again, this is all for fun. This is not for gain. There's nobody who's going to go there and think about this as how they're going to launch a layer 2. Maybe it is, but it's not really what we're going there for. It's about spending time with other Uplanders. And again, if you enjoy the game, that's a great thing. If you don't enjoy the game, maybe you enjoy the people. Looking forward to seeing everybody who can make it next Saturday, next Friday. And of course, if you want to take a look, we have the East Coast. Ooh, look at this. If you're watching, you're seeing the East Coast. Ooh, right there. The community-led Upland East Coast Meetup. That's like Clue Clue something. That is a Discord group. Can get you in there if you need to. A link is easy to drop. But of course, if you have questions, let me know. Looking forward to seeing that happen. And with that, I will leave it to we are going to be continuing to do things daily here. I am back from significant travel, which means we'll continue to do things daily as we have new news along the way. We'll have those conversations, and those who can make it to the East Coast to Philadelphia next weekend, not this coming weekend, but the following. Love to see you there. Thank you so much for being here Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT. Back at it, back doing it. And of course, if you're in the Upland Cafe, feel free to unmute your mics. The floor is yours.